Go ahead, Morgan.
Um, yeah, can you hear me, Bradley?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to fix the Linux Bluetooth thing with a non Apple Bluetooth. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, So, well, just wanted to talk about a few things this week that I didn't mention Friday, although I'll cover some of those too. One second. Mm, Let me see if I've got the right. Uh, okay. So this is happening this week. The Neuro Academy, and so it's this neuroimaging data science um, workshop. And one of the reasons I bring it up is that you've got people like Russ Poldrack presenting there. So um, that you'd covered, covered a bit of his book, and just to let people know that there's that all the videos um, uh, are available on YouTube, and they've got a couple that are very so like managing Python projects with Pixie, using GitHub ecosystems to your advantage. Some things that are not necessarily neuroimaging specific, right? That might be useful. Um, and yeah, so it's got a great lineup of neuroimaging researchers talking about their particular projects as well, um, with a focus on open source projects. So one of the videos came up last night, and I thought I should give him a shout. Also, yesterday, after our meeting Friday morning, is there was a special or an event of Machine Learning Tokyo, and this is a group that's been around for a long time. Again, rooted in open education, open source, open science, and these are some of the events that Susanna runs, which, as you can imagine, have definitely taken a bit of the LLM direction. And it's funny because it's like I can remember far enough back in the deep history of deep learning where it was much more like open CV focused, or kind of like ImageNet focused anyway. But um, uh, the field moves on. So evals was the focus, and Hummel, is was I think he's got some projects too, but he was very nonsense about the evaluations, and the um, the kind of evaluation work that he's covering is still very similar to what I was talking about, or the focus of the Anthropic paper, as well as the Blaise Agarasiarchus kind of work, right? So the how do you even well, there's a lot of interesting overlap between kind of the valuations work as well as kind of like the AI safety work in terms of really trying to understand what your model is doing, and how your model is aligned, right? Um, anyway, this is a good group. I'm just happy because because of the time zone. Usually her events are at 5 a.m. So it was nice to have one at those 10 a.m. my time. Just to keep on the topic of because I brought up Emily Bender on Friday, and just to say that Dare, which is I forget what she's definitely a part of Dare. She was on the stochastic parrot paper, but it was interesting because she was kind of pulled into it, and because they wanted a linguist, but now it's of course its own. This is their certainly this is their academy. I wonder, is Dare? Sorry, let me just see if Dare, what they call those. Okay, it still seems very education focused. But I wanted to just, shout out to Elvis here, because Elvis is the one who seems to be behind a lot of the paper recommendations that are coming out from Dare. And so I posted in the Slack the metacognition and LLMs survey, but I just wanted to bring up this other one that Elvis just suggested, which is self-improvements in modern agentic systems, a survey with of course the esteemed but not esteemed enough, or something, not lauded enough, Jürgen Schmidhuber. So this is going to be good. But it was interesting to see, this is like definitely, if you're familiar with agentic coding, this is like the most agentic coded artifact you can imagine. But I'm still really interested to go through this in terms of this is the Schmidhuber Swiss AI team doing something on self-improvement, and they've got the awesome self-improvement agents list on their GitHub. So that should be good. The other thing that I thought Elvis recommended recently, and I'm not seeing it right now, but it's something like it's basically talking about harnesses, and the reason to the reason to talk about that, sorry, is the ARC AGI challenge, right? So there's I'll look it up in just a second, but someone's showing Impossible Labs, I think, is showing this, where they've got a something like a 93 here this is, so the incredible performance on ARC, and it seems to be a lot about the particular harness that they're using. So I think it comes back to this question of what should we be, or how much of the reasoning and things like that, especially on long tasks like coding, um, are driven by the harness, as opposed to the base model. Anyway, since I do want to get to some of the educational materials that would be useful for learning about this, and I do have my I do have my Mike X Cohen book today, so I can start to see how much is going to be useful here. But just wanted to, shout out again to the Jeremy Howard work on this. Yeah, who seems to have himself as generating the first LLM. Yeah, anyway, that's the I think that's the updates I didn't cover that on Friday, but there are a couple of things that again, check out the Societies of Thought project on my GitHub, that is trying to take some of that Anthropic work, in addition to other papers, and like I put on the the Slack, there's this kind of connection with the University of Chicago. What is it called? The Knowledge, call themselves the K Lab, Knowledge Lab, and yeah, I also like dropped a link in the Cognition Futures for. I was just looking at some of the speakers at this more EEG methods meeting that's going to be in September. Excuse me. And one of the speakers reminded me of her work together with Iris Van Rouge. How do you
like that.
Is that something like that? Yeah. Anyway, I dropped that reading women in cognitive science list. That was awesome. Not just for the kind of more contemporary speakers or scientists, but also for some of the historical readings going back to the 1600s that I thought were really very cool. Sorry, I can just really quick. Yeah. And so some of these, Olivia Guest was the person who made me go down this particular rabbit hole, but I'm super interested to catch these before 1900 readings.
Yeah.